Namaskar, welcome to CTET online preparation classes, mathematics. So I am Manohar H, Senior Research Fellow, RI, Mysore. So in this session, we are going to talk about some of another concepts which are related to arithmetic. So those are the profit and loss and simple and compound interest, speed and time, distance. So in this session, we are going to cover these are the topics. Then, so if you analyze previous questions, so the topics which are the questions in CTET paper 1, paper 2, they have been asking profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest and speed and time distance. Based on these concepts, the questions been asking. Okay, so nearly every year from the CTET paper 1, paper 2, they have been asking 2 to 3 questions from these concepts. In today's class, let us learn these concepts and solve some of the previous questions of the CTET questions. Then, so let us see now. Okay, the question 1 is a cycle cost 450 rupees and it is sold for the 350 rupees. What is the loss percentage they are given? So the options are 23 by 23, 2 by 3 percentage. Option B 22, 2 by 9 percent is. Option C 21, 2 by 9 percent. Option D 24, 2 by 9 percent. So now, what is if you read the question, what they're trying to ask here? They're asking us to find out what is the loss percentage. So what and all they have given in the given information from the question. A cycle cost is the 450 rupees and it is sold for the 350 rupees. That means the cycle cost price they are given, and then selling price also they have given. We need to find out what is the loss percentage we need to identify. So the formula is for the loss, the cost price minus selling price. Okay, so in order to find out the loss percentage, we need to apply how much. First we need to identify how much loss we got it. Okay, and then what is the cost price of the item, and then we need to multiply with the 100 in order to identify the loss percentage. Okay, so now first what we need to identify? We need to identify the loss. Let us see now how we can identify. Okay, so when do we say that it is a loss? When the selling price is less than the cost price, then we say that we are in loss. Okay, so here if you see in the given question, what is the cost price they are given? 450 rupees. What is the selling price they are given here? 350 rupees. Okay, so if you see that here the selling price is less than the cost price, so therefore that's what they're saying, that they got the person got the loss. So now in the question we need to identify how much loss percentage he obtained. Okay, he occurred. So that is what we need to identify here. Now let us try to find what is the loss. Okay, so cost price how much? 450, and you substitute the cost price and selling price in the formula, you will get the loss is the 100 rupees they got the loss. Okay, now what is the percent of how much percentage he got it? Okay, so now apply we got the loss amount 100 rupees. Now apply. So formula is loss percentage, loss by CP into 100. CP is the cost price. Okay, so now what is the loss amount here? 100. What is the cost price here? 450 rupees. So when you multiply, do the simplification, we'll get this one will get cancelled. Okay, and 5 9s 45, 5 2s 10. Okay, so again if you simplify, this 200 by 9 will get, if you simplify, we'll get the 22 2 by 9 percentage. Okay, so like this, if we do 18 again 18, okay, so that means 22 2 by 9. Okay, so this is the amount we will percentage, loss percentage if the person got it. Okay, he purchased the cycle for the 450 rupees and he sold the cycle for the 350 rupees, and he got the 22 2 by 9% of the loss he got it. Okay, so this is the way of identifying when they ask the loss percentage. First what we have to identify, check the whether what is the cost price they have given, what is the selling price they have given, and try to identify what is the how much loss they got it, loss they got it, and then try to identify the loss percentage. Okay, so now directly we can see whenever you ask loss percentage, we can apply this formula. Loss percentage is equal to loss into 100 by cost price. When you know the cost price, identify the loss and then apply in this formula, directly we will get the answer. So now the second question is, a chair is bought for the 1500 rupees and they gain 6%. Find the what is the selling price, SP. So SP means it's the selling price. Okay, so what we need to what we need to identify here, we need to identify the what is the selling price. For how much, what is the cost price of the chair is 1500. So how much gain he got it? 6%. We need to identify the selling price. Okay, so given options are A 1590 rupees, the option B is 1410, option C is 1390, and option D is 1570 rupees. So in order to identify the selling price, what we have to do, we have to know the first cost percentage, what is the cost price of the item we need to know, and then what is the profit percentage we need to know, and then we can simplify this one. So now let us look at from the problem. So what is the cost price here? Cost price is CP is equal to how much they are given? CP is equal to how much they are given? 1500 rupees. Okay, so now what is the gain percentage? Gain percentage is nothing but 6%. So that means profit percentage. Okay, so that means, so 100 plus what is the profit percentage? 6%. So therefore it will become a 106. Okay, so now apply this value values into the formula. The selling price is equal to cost price into 100 plus profit percent by 100. Okay, so now what is the cost price is 1500, and 100 plus what is the profit here? 6. Okay, so that total become a 106. Okay, then by 100, if you do this one simplification, you will get the 159,000 by 100, 1,59,000 by 100 we will get. Okay, so when you multiply this one, this 1,59,000 100, 59,000 we will get. So again, if you simplify this one, we will get 1590. So this is the selling price of the item. Okay, so which is the option is correct? 1590. Option A is the correct one. So remember, positive means profit means always we got the some amount positive. So if loss means it is a negative amount. So add for the whenever profit means addition you do, subtract means loss means you do the subtract. Okay, remember these things. Okay, remember the formula for the selling price, always cost price into 100 if it is a profit, plus if it is a loss, minus, then divide, so that amount divided by 100. Then next question is, Lavanya sold a mobile for 3072 rupees at a loss of 20%, and she later sells another mobile for 4080 rupees. Find the gain percent in the second case. So she has, so Lavanya, so what exactly the question is trying to find out? The gain percent we need to identify. Okay, so let us reread again. So Lavanya sold a mobile for 3072 at a loss of 20%. That is the mobile 1. Okay, mobile 1. Okay, so again she later sells another mobile for 4080 rupees, and when she second time sell the another mobile, she got some of the gain she got it. So what is the gain percent she got it? That we need to identify. Now let us see that. Okay, for gain, so let us take, okay, for gain cost price is equal to selling price into 100 plus gain percentage. Similarly, for if it is a loss, we apply the formula cost price is equal to selling price into 100 minus loss percentage. Okay, for so now let us see one solution. Okay, in the first case, what happened here? She got it the last 20%. Okay, so what is the amount, selling price amount here? 3072 rupees. How much loss she got it? 20% she got it. Okay, so now let us see try to identify the cost price, because we have the only selling price and we have the only loss percentage. We don't know what is the cost price of the mobile, so that we need to identify the first. So what is the formula in order to identify the cost price here? We need to apply this formula we need to apply. So what is that? Cost price is equal to selling price into 100 divided by 100 plus gain percentage for the gain. Okay, so now apply those values into the given formula. Now what is the selling price here? 3072 rupees into 100 minus what is the last percentage? 20%. So if you apply, if you simplification, if you do this one, we will get it 3072 into 100, we will get 3700 divided by 120 80 we will get. Okay, so again when you cancel these things, when you simplification if you do, we'll get the 3,840 rupees. So 8 into 3,840 will become 30,720. Okay, so we got it, the cost price we got it. So what is the cost price here? 3,840 rupees we have got it. Okay, in the first case. Now what is the second case she is telling? The second, again she sells another mobile for the 4,080 rupees and find the gain, and she got it the gain, and we need to find the gain percents in the second case. So now let us see what is the amount here for selling price, for how much amount she for how much amount she is sold the second mobile for the 4,080 rupees. Okay, now how we have to find out the gain, we need to identify. Okay, so now gain, how we will identify gain? When you know the selling price and when we know the cost price. From the case 1 we identify the cost price we identified. So now selling price is how much? 4,080 rupees, and cost price is the 3,840. Okay, so when you simplify, when you subtract from 4,080 minus 3,840, we will get the 240 rupees. This much gain she got it. So when she sold the second mobile for the 4,080 rupees, she got the 240 rupees gain she got it. Okay, now in the question, so now we got it, we have the cost price, we have the gain, we have the selling price of the two mobiles. Okay, in the two cases. Now gain percentage we need to identify. So how do we identify the gain percentage here? The formula for the gain percentage, we need to apply gain by cost price into 100. Okay, so what is the gain? How much we got it? 240. So what is the cost price? 3,840. So if you simplify this one, we'll get 0.0625 into 100. So if you simplify this one, we'll get 0.06 into 25. Again, if you multiply 0.0625 into 100, we'll get the 6.25 percentage. Okay, so 6.25 percentage. Okay, so now let us see which option is the having the 6.25 percentage. Option C is the correct answer for this. So now let us just try to recall what we have done here. So here the two mobiles are there. Okay, Lavanya, she sold the mobile one for for certain some amount, and she got the loss for that, and again when she sold the second mobile, she got the gain. Okay, so in these cases what we have to be, but we don't know what is the cost price, so therefore we need to identify the cost price first, and then we need to identify the gain, and then we need to see the gain percentage. Similarly, for if it is a loss, if she got the loss, okay, so in which formula we will apply? Cost price is equal to selling price into 100 minus loss percentage. This is the formula where we apply in the case of loss. In the case of gain, we apply cost price is equal to selling price into 100 plus gain percentage. Now coming to the next question, the question is like that: find the simple interest on 200 rupees for 5 years at the rate of at 6% per annum. The option A is 50, the option B is 60, the option C is 55, the option D is 65. So what is they're trying to ask is find the simple interest. Okay, so we just need to identify the simple interest on an amount of 200 rupees for 5 years with 6% per annum. So what and all they have given here? The principal amount they have given 200 rupees. Okay, and then the rate they have given, okay, 6%, and time also they have given 5 years, that is the T. Okay, so that P is equal to 200 and time is equal to 5 years they have given, and the rate is equal to 2% they have given. So what we need to find out? We need to identify the simple interest. If you know the simple interest formula, SI is equal to PTR by 100, principal, rate, time. Okay, so if you identify that one, we'll get the simple interest. So now let us try to apply the values into the given formula. So now SI is equal to P into PTR by 100 or P into R into T by 100. Okay, what is the P value here? 200. Okay, what is R value? Per annum rate 6. Okay, what is the time? 5. Okay, so now divided by 100. So if you simplify this one, okay, 6 5 is the 30, 32 is the 60, we'll get the 60. Okay, so now what we got it? Simple interest we got it the 60, which is the option B is the correct one. So we have the principal amount, we have the rate, we have the time they have given, and we got it. Simple interest is 60 for 5 years with a 6% annum. Okay, so So remember always the simple interest should be directly proportional to the principal amount, rate and time must be in the years and rate is always per annum in the simple interest. Okay, so when you multiply principal, rate, time for to identify the simple interest, then divide with by 100, then we'll get the value of that one. Now let us see another question. The question is like this: 1200 rupees becomes a 1450 with the rate of 20%. Find the time. Okay, so this is a question. Okay, this is based on again previous formula. Option A is 1 year. Option B is 1 by 13 year. Option C is 1 year 1 by 24 years. Option D is 1 year 1 by 20 years. Okay, so now let us identify time. We need to identify. So we know the formula SI is equal to, SI is equal to PTR by 100. Okay, now what are the values they are given here? SI they are given, okay, and the amount they have given, and they also given the rate they have given, principal amount they have given. We need to identify only the T. We need to identify. Okay, so now from this formula, how we can identify the T? So we can write it as T is equal to SI into 100 by P into R. Okay, so here we can see that. Okay, so where T is equal to time, SI is equal to simple interest, and P is equal to principal, R is equal to rate of interest. Okay, so now let us try to apply in this formula given values. Okay, therefore we by applying we can get the time. Okay, so now what is the amount they are given here? Principal amount is the 1200, and the amount they are given here 1450. That means after principal amount sum with the sum of the interest, the amount become a 1450 rupees. Okay, so the SI is equal to, now simple interest we have to identify amount minus principal. So how much simple interest we got it, because we don't know. So they told directly that this is the amount, this is the principal amount. We don't know what is the interest. So the amount will come based on the simple interest plus principal amount. Okay, so then therefore we need to identify what is the simple interest here. Okay, so now for identify the simple interest, the formula is amount minus principal. So we need to subtract principal amount from the total amount. So what is the total amount here? 1450. What is the principal amount here? 1200. So now when you subtract from the amount to principal, we'll get the 250 rupees. Now we got it SI, and we have the amount, we have the principal, and we have the rate also. Now we need to identify the T. Okay, so from the STR, from the SI is equal to PTR by 100, from that formula the T we can write it as, time we can write it as T is equal to SI into 100 by P into R. So now let us apply all the values into this formula. Now SI is equal to 250, 100, P is equal to 1200, and rate is the 20% per annum. Okay, so now when you simplify this one, we'll get it 250 into 100, we'll get to 25,000, and 1200 into 20, if you multiply, we'll get the 24,000. So now when you simplify this one, we'll get these zeros will get cancelled, and we'll get the 25 by 24. Okay, now when you divide 24 by 25 with the 24 ones are 24, again remainder will be the 1. Okay, so that means we get 1 year 1 by 24 years. Okay, so this is the time for this much time the principal amount become this much amount. Okay, so what is the answer is 1 year 1 by 24, which is the option is correct. 1 year 1 by 2, option C is the correct answer for this. Okay, so now first find the SI, then use the SI is equal to Peter by 100 formula. From that you derive the T, and then simplify, you will get the solution. So always you remember this formula in the simple interest is whenever the questions asked from the based on the simple interest. Okay, so we can apply this formula. Coming to the next question, the question is 5,000 is invested at 10% per annum, compound offerly for 2 years. Find the compound interest. So we need to identify what we need to identify. The compound interest we need to identify. So what they are given, 5,000 is invested at 10% per annum, compounded offerly for 2 years. Now we need to find the compound interest we need to identify. So the option A is 1077.5, option B is 1078.5, option C is 1070.5, and option D is 1570.5. Let us see now. So now if you see the compound interest, okay, so what is the formula for the compound interest? Amount minus principal. What is the formula for to find out the amount? Principal plus compound interest. Okay, so since they are given for the half-yearly, for compound interest basically for the annually, A is equal to principal 1 plus R by 100 whole to the power of n. So where P is the principal, where R is the rate percent per annum, and N is the time in years. Okay, now let us try to solve this problem. Now if you look at the problem, what is the P here? Okay, principal amount, how much they are given? 5,000 they are given. Okay, so what is the rate invested at 10% per annum? So that means rate is equal to 10% per annum. Compounded half-yearly for the 2 years, time is 2 years. So how they compounding they have done? Half-yearly they have given. Half-yearly means 2, yearly means 1. Okay, so like that. So then periodic rate. Okay, now we need to identify the periodic. So for 10%, half-yearly means that becomes a 5%. So here 2 years they are given time. Okay, periodic rate, if you see that half-yearly, that means 10% by 2. Half-yearly means 2. So therefore, if you divided with the 2, then it will become a 5%. So how many periods? Number of periods we need to find out. So 2 into 2, 4. Okay. How many periods? For 2 years it will become half-yearly means half-yearly means for a year 2. For 2 years it will become a 4. Okay, compound. So that means number of periods they consider for compound is 4. Okay, now let us find out the amount. Okay, so in order to identify the amount, A is equal to P plus 1 plus R by 100 whole to the power of n. Okay, so what is the P value? 5,000. 1 plus, what is the R value? We got it here 5. Okay, periodic rate, and then by 100 whole to the power of 4. Okay, so when you simplify this one, let us simplify within the bracket one. So when you show that 5 by 20, okay, 5 to the 10, 20. So now 1 plus 1 by 20, if you simplify this, we'll get 1 point, if you get 1.05 whole to the power of 4. Okay, so when again if you multiply this one, we'll get 6077.5. okay, so now we got it, amount we got it, and we also have the principal amount. Now what we need to identify? Compound interest we need to identify. What is the formula to identify the compound interest? The amount minus principal. What is the amount? How much amount we got it here? 6077.5. What is the principal amount they are given here? 5,000 they have given. So the when you subtract amount from the principal from the amount, we get the 1077.5. okay, 6077.5 and 5,000, if you subtract, we get the 1077.5. okay, so let us see the option. Which option is correct? Option A, 1077.5 is the correct answer. Okay, now let us see that. Okay, let us quickly recall what we have done here. So they are given principal amount, they are given the rate, and they are given compound half-yearly for the 2 years, and we need to identify the compound interest. Whenever they ask the compound interest, remember the formula, okay, of compound interest. To identify the compound interest, we need to know first amount value, and then we need to know the principal level. If you know the amount and principal, then we can apply those values and can get the answer. Now next one, the next question is, the speed of a train is 60 km per hour. Find its speed in meter per second. Okay, the option A is 16.67, option B is 18.25, option C is 17, option D is none of these. Okay, so now what they are asking to, we need to identify the speed. We need to identify in the meter per second. We need to identify the speed of the train is 60 km per hour, and find its speed in meter per second. So what we have to what we have to do? So let us see that what is the given speed here? 60 km per hour. So 1 km per hour is equal to 5 by 18 meter per second. So that is the standard one where we need to remember. Whenever kilometer per hour conversion, whenever we need to convert the kilometer per hour into meter per second, we need to divide with multiply with the 5 and divide with the 18. So this is the formula standard value we need to remember whenever in the calculation of the speed. Okay, the formula for the distance is speed into time, and so that means the distance covered by the person or train or object. Okay, the speed is equal to, from this only we can derive speed is equal to distance by time, and time is equal to distance by speed. Okay, so d is equal to s into t. Okay, speed is equal to distance by time, and you go time, and then time is equal to, okay, distance by speed. Okay, so if you remember this formula, from this only we can, these another two we can derive. Now in this question, now let us see in this question what they're trying to ask. So in this question, let us see what they are trying to ask. Okay, so what is the given speed here? 60 km per hour, and we need to convert into speed in the meter per second. So 60 km per hour, so that means we need to multiply 60 into 5 by multiply with the 5 and divide by the 18. Okay, in order to convert kilometer per hour into meter per second. So if you do the calculation, we'll get 6 5 30. That means 60 into 5 300, and 300 divided by 18 meter per second. Again, if you simplify this one, 16.67 300 value we will get. So 16.67 we will get it. So let us see in the option, which is the option is 16.67. Option A is the correct one. Option A is the 16.67. So always remember that whenever you multiply kilometer per hour, okay, so whenever you want to convert kilometer per hour into meter per second, first multiply with the 5 and divide it with the 18. Okay, so then you can get it the answer. Next, coming to the next question. A car covers 125 km in 5 hours. What is the speed of the car? Option A is 20, option B is 24, option C is 30, option D is the 25. So what then? A car covers 125 kilometers. So that means distance, okay, in 5 hours. Okay, so then we need to find the speed of the car, we need to identify. Okay, so that means they are given here distance, they are given, and time also. This is the distance they are given, and this is the time they have given. We need to identify what is the speed. Directly apply the formula. Okay, speed, distance by time. What is the distance? 125. What is the time? If we calculate 5 ones are 525 is a 25 kilometers per hour. Are they asking units are the same? We need to convert into meter per second. Okay, so directly divide and we'll get the answer, which is the option here. Option D is the 25. Okay, remember the unit conversion. So as we were discussing in the previous slide, to convert the kilometer per hour to the meter per second, we multiply with the 5 by 18. Whereas conversion to convert meter per second to the kilometer per hour, we multiply with the 18 by 5. Okay, so the formula is for speed is equal to distance by time, and distance is equal to speed into time, and time is equal to distance by speed. Okay, then always convert the units first, then apply the formula. Okay, the next question is, a bike moving at 118 km per hour, it crosses a bridge in 8 hours. What is the length of the bridge? The length of the bridge we need to identify. Okay, so what is there given here? So that means length means the distance we need to identify here. So what they are given here? They are given the speed. A bike moving at the speed of 108 km per hour, it crosses a bridge within the 8 hours. So that means the speed they are given, time they have given, we need to identify the the length of the bridge. That means the distance, indirectly they are asking distance. Okay, so that distance we need to identify. So what is the formula for the recall? The formula for to identify the distance, speed into time. So directly the formula can be applied here. Okay, the formula of the distance is speed into time. So now distance is equal to, what is the speed here? 108, and what is the time? 8 hours. So that means it is again, it is in the kilometer per hour only. So therefore there is no need to conversion of the units here. So directly when you apply 8 8 is 64, 8 1 is 864 kilometers. Now let us see the option, which option is there? 864. Option B is the correct answer. Speed always should be in the kilometer per hour. Okay, now next question. Coming to the next question, a farmer sells 2 cows. On one he makes a gain of 25%, on the other he suffers a loss of 25%. What is his overall gain or loss? A farmer sells 2 cows. So a farmer is having the 2 cows. Okay, he sells the 2 cows. On one he makes a gain. When he is selling the 1 cow, he makes a gain of 25%, and the other when he suffers a loss of 25%. What is his overall gain or loss? Is the gain is 6.25% gain, or B is option B is 6.25% loss? There is no profit, no loss. Option D is the none. Okay, so now let us see that. Okay, for the profit, if you whenever gain means like we assume that we got the we obtain the profit percentage. In such a cases, we use the formula profit percentage is equal to profit by CP into 100. So if for the loss percentage, in order to identify the loss percentage, first we identify the loss, then we'll identify the what is the cost price, then we multiply with the 100. Okay. Now let's CP of each cow is, let us assume that we don't know what is the cost price. Okay, let us assume that it is 100 rupees. The first cow, how much gain he got it? 25%. So therefore, what will become the selling price here? 100 into 125 is the gain. Okay, so 100 plus 25. Okay, that becomes a 125 by 100. Okay, so when you simplify this one, we'll get the selling price is the 125. So that is for the first cow. Now second cow, what will happen? So he suffers a loss of the 25%. Okay, so that means he got the loss for the second cow. So now let us assume that cost CP is the 100 rupees. If you assume that, okay, what is the selling price? Let us see now. Okay, CP is 100. Okay, loss means 100 minus 25, so we will get it the 75. Okay, 70, so into 75 by 100. Okay, so when you simplify this one, we'll get the selling price. Selling price for second cow is the 75 rupees. The first cow he sold for the 125 rupees, and the second cow he sold for the 70 rupees. So in the first cow he got the gain, second cow he got the loss. Okay, now total cost price, let us see what is the total cost price for the two cows, 200 rupees, and total selling price for the two cows is 200 rupees. Now overall, if you see that both are the no profit and no loss. Okay, but profit loss percent and total is, when you calculate this one, we'll get the minus 6.25%, because if you see that profit and loss percent and total cost price, 200 minus 212.5 divided by the total cost value is 200 into 100. If you simplify this one, we'll get the minus 6.25%. So that means the loss is the 6.25%. Option B is the correct one. Even if you directly, no need to do the calculation this much, directly we can see the gain percent and loss percent. So overall loss, if you apply this one also, directly we'll get the 6.25% loss. The next one is, find the simple interest on 16,000 for 3 years, 3 months at 4 years 1/2% per annum, with at 4 1/2% per annum. We have to see that. Okay, so now we need to identify the simple interest for the given amount. Okay, now what is the principal amount they are given here? The principal amount is the 16,000. So what is the rate? How much rate they are given per annum? Okay, 4.5. So off means is nothing but 0.5. So that means 4.5% they are given. Okay, so how many years they are asking here? The time is they are given 3 years 3 months. Okay, so now let's convert the time into years. Okay, for 3 years 3 months, how much will become? 3 years plus 3 months. So that means each year is the 12 months. 3 by 12. Okay, so if you simplify this one, 3 ones are 3 fours are 1/4. Okay, 3 plus 1/4, that becomes 13 by 4 years. Okay, so that means 3.25 years. Okay, now step so we got it. We have we need to identify the simple interest. We need to identify. So we have the principal amount. We also got it. Rate they have given already 4.5, and now time we identified, that is 3.25. Now let us apply these values into the simple interest formula, then we will get it. Okay, so now 16,000 into, if you simplify, multiply this one, we will get the 14.625 by 100. Okay, so again when you simplify this one, we will get it 20. How much we will get? 2,34,000 divided by 100. Okay, so now again if you simplify this one, we'll get the 2,340 rupees. So now what is the option here? Okay, so we can also options we didn't give here, so the answer is 2,340 rupees. The next question is, a certain sum of money becomes a double in simple interest at 5% per annum. Find the time in years. So now a certain sum of money becomes a double in simple interest at the 5% per annum. So what is that? What we need to find? We need to find the time we need to identify. So option A is 18, option B is 20, option C is the 15, option D is the none. So for him money to double in SI, okay, the time it becomes 100 by rate percentage. Here what is the rate they, how much they are given here? 5% they are given. So therefore the T become 100 by 5. So that means time will get to the 20 years. Okay, so now what is the answer here? 20 years. The next question is the difference between the compound interest and simple interest on 8,000 for 2 years is 20 rupees. Find the rate of the interest. Okay, so the given P is principal amount 8,000. The time they have given 2 years. Okay, and then the difference between the compound interest and simple interest is how much it is? 20 rupees. Okay, now find the rate of the interest we need to identify. Okay, so how do you identify the rate of interest? Now let us see that. The difference between the compound interest and simple interest is P is equal to R square, the formula which we need to apply here, into 2 by 100 square. Okay, so if you apply the values and calculate, you simplify, okay, we'll get it. R is equal to 4%. Okay, so this is for the short formula. So when you apply this one, we'll get the 4%. Okay, so this is one way of finding the rate of interest for the given. Whenever they ask the difference between the compound interest and simple interest, when they give this much and ask them to identify the rate of interest, okay, when you perform like this, okay, we'll get the 4%. Now the next question is, a bike covers 240 kilometers in 5 hours and then 260 kilometers in 5 hours. What is the average speed? Option A is 50, option B is 40, option C is 100, option D is the none. Okay, so what is the bike covers total distance in 5 hours? Okay, and then 260 kilometers in 5 hours. What is the average speed? Average speed we need to identify. What is the formula to identify the average speed here? Total distance by total time. Now let us see that what is the total distance, how much. Okay, in 5 hours first it covers 240 and the second it covers in the 260. So therefore the total distance how much he covered? 500 kilometers. How much time he has taken to cover the 500 meters? 5 hours plus 5 hours, total 10 hours has taken. Okay, now average speed we need to find it, you need to identify. What is the speed? What is the formula for to identify the average speed? Total distance by total time. So we know the total distance. How much total distance? 500. So what is the total time? 10 hours. Okay, so when you simplify this, 50 by 1, there's nothing but 50. So that 50 kilometer per hour. So units we need to check always careful. Okay, units kilometer per hour, kilometer per hour. So what is the answer here? Option A is the correct. 50 kilometer per hour. So remember the formula. So directly you can apply the formula in given values and then we can get the solution. Okay. Now the next question is, a bus travels at a speed of 37 km per hour. What distance will it covers in 8 hours? Okay, so option A is 240 kilometers. Option B is 289 kilometers. Option C is 296 kilometers. Option D is the 276 kilometers. Okay. Now what is the given speed? What they're asking actually, let us try to read once. A bus travels at the speed of 37 km per hour. So that means the speed they have given. Given speed is 37 km per hour. What distance will it cover in 8 hours? Distance will cover it in 8 hours. 8 hours means time they have given. Time is 8 hours. So what distance will it cover? So that means the distance we need to identify. This is unknown information which we need to identify. Okay. So what is the formula to identify the distance? Speed into time, which is a basic formula. Okay. So if you apply we know the speed, we know the time, and apply the speed and time in the formula, we'll get it so that means 37 into 8. So when you multiply this one, we'll get the 286 kilometers. 286 kilometers, 296 kilometers. Where is the option? So option C is the correct one, 296 kilometers. So directly apply the formula in this question, we'll get the answer. Now with this we come for the end of the session. So in this session we have discussed profit and how to calculations on the profit and problems and applying the concept of the simple interest and some of the problems based on the compound interest and some of the formulas based on the speed, time, distance we have seen. So remember the conversation always whenever in the speed problems they ask kilometer per hour. To convert into meter per second, remember you have to multiply with the 5 by 18. In the similarly, whenever you want when they ask you to convert meter per second to the kilometer per hour, we need to convert multiply with the 18 by 5. Okay, so with this So we're ending the session, and finally we have discussed the concept of profit, loss, and when they ask the discount, and we also discussed the concept of the simple interest. We also discussed the concept of the compound interest through the problems and speed, distance, time. Okay, thank you.